Technical difficulties. We had a party last night. We're on the air, 8:03:49. And it's after party stuff, people. So here we are. Here we are live on Visual Radio. And tonight we've got Doug Mascott, and we're going to see how this works. So let's try this. Welcome to Visual Radio on. It is Thursday night, December 13th. The notorious 12-13-12, which is more potent than 12-12-12. See if Doug Mascott's around. Watch how we do this audio tonight.
Hello?
Doug Mascott?
Yes, this is Doug Mascott. How can I help you?
Why aren't you in the studio?
Huh?
Why aren't you in the studio?
Which studio?
My studio.
My leg was bothering me, and to take that drive all the way out to Winchester, I didn't think I could handle it.
Well, that's okay, Doug. You're here on the phone. So you're doing a benefit concert?
Yes, I am.
And when is it?
It's this Sunday at 6:30. The doors are going to open.
Now, is that December 16th?
Yes, it is.
And the doors are going to open where?
To the place at 6:30.
Well, what's the place? Is it in Salem, Massachusetts?
Yes, it's called the Ward 2 Social Club, which is at 1E Collins Street in Salem, Mass.
Now, Doug, you have a radio show that's on that morning. Now, that's the last radio show of the year, correct?
Yes, it is, until next year. I mean, not next year as in next December, but in January. The college shuts down all the different buildings while the kids are out for Christmas break, holiday break, and they basically shut down all the buildings, turn the heat down as low, to a normal low possibility, and no one uses any of the buildings except if they're really needed. So they conserve energy and heat and everything. So all the
They're cheapskates.
No, it's a good way to save on energy and everything like that.
I'm sorry. If I were paying $100,000 to go to a college, I want to have work study even over the college vacation. That's me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's your opinion, and
I'm being funny. Come on.
Oh, I know. And let me tell you, we're having the Brigands playing.
Who are they? The Brigands. Brigans. I tried to look them up on the web. I couldn't find them.
Ands. Brigands. They're a band from. Most of the guys are. One of the guys is from Malden. One is from somewhere on the western part of the state. Another one is from.
Now, I don't know why they travel so far, because they're all going to break up anyway. You and I have been seeing this for decades.
Yeah, I know, but these guys have been together for quite a long time, since my days at WNSH.
I remember the name from you.
Yeah, and they play their own music. They're an original band, and the covers that they do are from local bands of the older local bands.
The Atlantics?
The Atlantics.
Stompers?
No, the Atlantics is one of the songs they play. They also play the Outlets.
Oh, wow.
And many other local bands. They play their music. So
Do they do any originals?
they do their own originals too, and they have a new CD that's coming out, I think in January.
So get me a copy.
Oh, I will. And then I have a band called Tommy's Myth, which is with a fellow by the name of Mike McIver from Three-Toed Sloth, which is a local band. He's in a local band that plays all over Salem. Plus, he's been in many of times to my show on the radio to play acoustically when I have like different things going on. And so his band has him and a fellow by the name of Bill. And Bill is from a band called Used Gear. And Used Gear is a band that plays in Lynn mostly.
How do you spell that?
USED.
Used Gear, like Gear?
The stuff that you use for like the amps and the PA.
I used to work with a band called Gear, Michelle Gear and Bill Gear. That was really their name.
Yep.
I got to get Bill and Michelle to play with Used Gear.
That should be funny. And
so who's the fellow in Used Gear? He's in the Brigands?
No. The guy, Mike McIver, is with a band called Three-Toed Sloth.
Oh, okay, got it.
And they have been playing forever. They play like the Lobster Shanty in Salem. They play wherever they can. They've been around forever. And then I have a group, a band from, and I don't know anything about them, but my new co-host of my radio show, his name is Robbie Mendel, Mindel. He's bringing a band that he's helping that's from the high school of Marblehead.
And what are they called?
They're called Starlight Radio. And then we also have a hip-hop person that's coming in.
So that's the whole lineup, and it starts at 7 o'clock?
Yep, they start 7 o'clock, and in between, Robbie is going to be DJing in between the bands. We'll be having also some surprise guests coming in.
Okay, Doug, so again, the name of the club is what?
Is called the Ward 2.
W-A-R-D, Ward 2.
Social Club.
Social Club, and it is on what street in Peabody?
In Salem. 1E Collins Street.
Now, didn't you have a club called Collins?
Yes, I did about 5 years ago.
Was that on Collins Street?
That was on Main Street.
Okay, I just got it all mixed up, but that's okay. The Ward 1 Social Club on Collins Street. Ward 2 Social Club on Collins Street, Salem. Any landmarks that's near?
The best way to...
Well, just a quick landmark, and because we got to keep the show rolling, Doug. You know how I am.
If you can find Bridge Street in Salem, look for Osgood Street, take a right onto Osgood Street, and at halfway down, there's a stop sign. Take a left, and at the end of that street is the club.
Sounds good. Now, what time do the festivities start?
The festivities start at 7 p.m.
Jeff, don't worry about the cameras. Let's just do one.
And to let people know that we have raffles, and we're going to have 50-50 raffles, and we're asking everyone to bring a gift for a teenager.
So what's the benefit for?
It's called Gifts for Teens, and it's for teenage kids who really won't be getting much of a Christmas because they're like in halfway houses.
So this is Gifts for Teens, people in halfway houses at the Ward 2 Social Club on Collins Street in Salem. What time does it start again?
It starts at 7 p.m.
And who's the first act?
We're still putting it together.
Okay, so the Brigands are playing. Mike MacGyver and Three-Toed Sloth. Robbie is doing the DJing. Starlight Radio. Sounds like a fun time.
It's going to be.
Now, let's talk about your radio show. You're on the air at 9 o'clock Sunday morning. Are you doing Christmas songs?
We're going to be doing Christmas songs. Some of the different musicians that are going to be playing and other musicians that I know are coming in to play acoustically. I mean, maybe they might not play Christmas songs, but we're going to try to play enough Christmas music.
Okay, so we're talking to Doug Mascott of Tracks of the Town Radio, 91.7 FM, people, Sunday mornings at 9 to noon. Larry Lepori, the city messenger of Medford, listens to you.
Ah, great.
You remember Larry from NSH Radio?
Yes, I do.
So I'll tell Larry I talked to you tonight.
Please do. And send him my best wishes.
For Christmas, because I'm going to see him the Tuesday before Christmas.
And Joe?
Yep.
Your listeners, I would like to wish your listeners well, this is in the middle of Hanukkah right now, so I would like to wish any of your Jewish listeners a happy Hanukkah, and I would like to wish everybody else a happy Merry Christmas and a happy, peaceful New Year.
So do non-Jewish people not celebrate Hanukkah?
Well, who knows? Some people do celebrate Hanukkah even though they're not Jewish. Some people celebrate Christmas even though they're Jewish.
Many of our Jewish friends celebrate Christmas.
Yeah. And let me tell you, over the years, I have had the pleasure of celebrating Christmas with one of my neighbors when I was a little kid. They invited me every year to come trim the tree, pick out the tree, have Christmas dinner with them. And my parents, when we were all young, they used to invite all of our friends, mine and my sister's friends, to come down, have Hanukkah dinner with us, and have potato latkes. And my father would sit and tell the story of of Hanukkah to all of us kids. Then my mother would teach everyone how to play the dreidel game, and everyone had a great time.
Well, Doug, again, for our listeners, they can Google WMWM Salem to get the online. They can hear it online, 91.7 FM. And just give us a couple of the names coming in Sunday, then we got to go.
Okay, some of the guys from the Brigands are coming in. Some of the guys from Tommy Smith. Some of the guys from Starlight. Robbie is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Bob Nelson.
Raccoon Radio.
Yeah, Raccoon Radio. And I would like to also let people know that if they would like to get a hold of me to find out more about the event, they can call me at my office at 781-888-2755. And Joe, I would like to say thank you very much for having me over the phone lines on your show tonight.
Well, thank you very much, Doug, and you're doing a good cause, and it's a nice charitable event. Thank you for calling in. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy holidays to you and all of your listeners.
Thanks, Dougie. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That's Doug Mascott. And Jeff Dearman is here. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you to Judy. We had a little technical difficulty because of the setup for the party last night. So all the microphones were plugged in here. I was here early. I was here like 20 of, quarter of, and we got everything set up. And then you go on the air, and who knows? But that's, that's the way it is. Here. Now, we're going to talk to Gary DeCarlo. Hey, Jeff Dearman, how are you? Jeff's waving. Jeff was at the Celtics game last night, biting all his nails as he was ushering through the first overtime, through the fourth overtime, the seventh overtime. Here's my comment. Kevin Garnett, they had to give him a rest. They give him a rest, and as I heard on the radio, the other team starts getting back in the door. So by giving him a rest, they had to go into overtime. Now, Jeff, you can wave your hand. Did Kevin Garnett play in the overtime? Yes. So what was the point of giving him the rest if the rest caused an overtime, right? We had a comfortable lead. Of course, you learn by doing, and Kevin's gotten older, but maybe in the future Doc Rivers will keep him in 5 or 10 minutes longer so they don't have to go into overtime with a, the other team we faced last night was depleted. So, the Celtics struggled, but they won the game. And a win is a win is a win. Now, we're going to talk to Gary DeCarlo of the band Steam, the original member. And I talked to him a little earlier, did a little pre-production on the way over here. How's the audio, Jeff? We're using a Sennheiser.
Hello.
Gary DeCarlo.
Joe V. How are you?
Good, man. I was watching the PBS special, your performance of Na Na Hey Hey Kiss 'Em Goodbye Again tonight. Boy, it's so great. It's up on YouTube.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. It's gone. It's getting close to 6,000 hits. So it's people are becoming aware of it. And I got someone just called me and sent me a letter the other day. I guess they had seen it. They were airing it down in Kentucky, and he wrote me and told me how great he thought it was, and that I sounded really good on it. So I was very surprised, and I was really happy to hear that.
Now, I told you in one of our interviews that when I saw it on PBS, I thought it was the record. Watching it again on YouTube, I'm still amazed at how tight, not only your voice, and you sound like exactly like the record, but so was the accompaniment was amazing.
Yeah, the house band was unreal. What I thought was great, too, was that they obviously listened to the record after we had done the rehearsal, and then when they came back and we did the live show, the drummer got down the percussion part, and then they added in the piano and the vibe parts and stuff, and you're right, it did sound very, very close to it.
Now, the vibe parts, were they put into a keyboard so they could play them back?
I'm sorry, the what?
Did they play the vibes live, or did they?
Yeah, they had a set of vibes up on the stage that night. Yes.
Totally amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought so too.
So you look so youthful in the video, and you sound so young. It's just amazing. For these PBS, the PBS crowd is a bunch of gray hairs, and you young rockers were up there rocking.
Yeah, they were great too. You could see in the video that the whole place was standing up and they were singing and they're having a good time. I get that kind of a response usually every time that I do it, and people come up and relate really happy, good stories about what they were doing at the time, and it's a good feeling.
So there's this rapper out there with a name Fancy, and it's not the band Fancy that had the hit Wild Thing. The rapper did Na Na Hey Hey Kiss 'Em Goodbye. It's an expensive video, too.
Really?
Yeah, so there's a CD of it, and it's on eBay. I saw it tonight. I was looking, because that's where I do a lot of my research. I wrote a couple of pages I sent to you, and I look on eBay, Gary, and I can get the picture of the 45 instantly and zero in on the publisher and the time of the record and everything.
Yeah, I was. As a matter of fact, I was looking at the stuff that you sent, and it's great. I love it.
You mean I might have potential as a writer down the road?
I think so.
I've only written about 10,000 articles.
Yeah. Well, hey, Joe, you got to get good after a while, right?
What was fun was I sat down and I saw your email and I said, okay, let me bang one out, and I banged that out within an hour.
Yeah, well, you have a knack for it, man. Believe me, you can see they're very, very polished, very professional, and you hit on some very good points.
We haven't even polished it yet. That's the rough draft.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So for you to just whack that out in that short of a time, right? And you didn't really talk to Joe T, right?
No, I just emailed it to you and him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So with both of your heads together, it'd come out great.
It's the YouTube world. I mean, the internet. In the old days, I'd be at the library, and there'd be information on these teletype things that I'd get, writing an article. And then you'd get books off the shelf, and you'd have to pour through the books. That 1 hour would have taken me 3 hours.
Yeah.
So things have changed in a good way if you know where to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely, right. I agree with you. Well, that's what amazes me, too, about the young kids today. They have so much at their disposal for showing, their talents and stuff, which we didn't have back in those days. You had to go and door knock and do things totally different.
There's a downside to it, and I'm going to bring it up, and that is the kids today have too much information. So when you made a record back in the day, Gary, even if you had 4 tracks or 6 tracks or 8 tracks, and some of the Sam Cooke stuff was done on 3-track machines.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But, even in the old days, 2 tracks for Frank Sinatra and a big band.
Yep.
So you had to get it right the first time. Yep. Or if the Rolling Stones were making Beggar's Banquet on a 4-track, they would mix down the 4-track and then open up 2 more tracks. But everything sounds so good 50 years later.
Yeah, you have to have the ears to be able to put the rhythm section together, right? Like you said, put it down onto one track, and then open up more tracks, and then have an idea of what you want to do, so that you could at least have some tracks for your vocals, so you could finish up. But yes, I know what you're saying. Believe me.
Well, here's my feeling about some of the kids, not all of them today, because some are purists and will go back. They don't understand what analog recording was. They don't understand how meticulous some artists were putting these things together, and why that you need to go back to the future, if you will.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We know what it is too. Now they have the virtual tracks where you could have 148 tracks going at once. I mean, it's like, how many tracks do you need? You could make a decent record on an 8-track or a 16-track. And 24 is plenty.
Well, I think the magic number is 88. Want me to give you my reasoning?
Yes.
All right. Some of my favorite records in the 70s, don't laugh, were the records produced by the Bee Gees.
Oh, I love the Bee Gees.
So when they did Heartbreaker for Dionne Warwick, and they did Barbra Streisand's Guilty album with A Woman in Love, what a great song, and Andy Gibb, and all these great things, Yvonne Elliman, they were producing. They had, I guess, they would sync up 2 24-track machines and have 48. But when you sync those tracks up, you lose 4 tracks that you need to sync up the machines with. So 48 tracks become 44. Then they had another 2 24-track machines, so they had 96 tracks, which turned into 88 tracks.
Wow.
Those great Bee Gees records were How Deep Is Your Love, Fanny Be Tender. Those were cut on 88 tracks.
Wow. I wouldn't think they would need that many tracks, but you're right. The recordings were really, really good. The guitar was such a full sound, especially on what was that for the movie with John Travolta?
Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever, yeah. The guitar part on that blew me away. It was so thick and rich, and it was just a simple little line that he was playing, but it was so effective.
Well, Albie Galutin was one of the producers. They had 2 co-producers, but those records were rich. They had depth. And you play a Rolling Stones record done on 4-track and a Bee Gees done on 96, and you can play both on the radio next to each other.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
So the big question, how many tracks did you use for Na Na Hey Hey Kiss 'Em Goodbye?
That was done on 8 tracks. It was an 8-track studio. Mercury had a 16-track at the time, but we just used the 8-track.
Was it like 1-inch tape?
Yeah. Yep.
How's that for a guess on an 8-track, 1-inch?
Yep, 1 inch.
And you needed 16 tracks would have 2-inch.
Yep. Yeah, they use that, for let's see, what was his Buddy Miles. Buddy Miles came in and he was recording up there, and they were in the 16-track studio.
So I wonder where those tapes are if Uni has them in the vaults.
Yeah, I would assume, because I don't know if Paul had them. I know he had them when after it was recorded, but I don't know what happened to him after that. And I know that there was remixes that were done, but again, I don't know, where the tapes are or who has them or what.
Oh, we should investigate that. We should talk to Universal Music first out in California. They might have them.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
At least they'd have the 2-track master and some of the mix downs, maybe.
Yeah, well, there was only one. There was only one mix.
Of that song?
Yeah, it was only one mix.
Now, you used a backing track to another tune you had recorded.
Yeah, that was the drum track from a song called Sugar by Neil Sedaka. And it was a black studio drummer from New York City called Jimmy Johnson. And that was pulled, and there was made an 8-bar loop, and then everything was added onto it.
Now, can we find that original Sugar? Do you have a copy of that?
I think I do, yes. I think I do. I don't know if I have it. I think I have it in a demo form, though. The where they sound test it right before it's pressed, because it never came out.
Boy, we got to see if we can track those down, because that would make a nice collectible box, The Story of Na Na Hey Hey, Kiss 'Em Goodbye.
Yeah, I have that. I think I also have Sweet Lauralee, I think, and I have, what was the Van McCoy. I can't remember the name of it.
Van McCoy song?
Yeah, it was a Van McCoy song.
Bobby Hebb did For You, and Van McCoy, of course, hit with The Hustle.
Yeah, exactly. He hit with that afterwards, after the Na Na thing. But it was kind of hard picking out some of the songs, because some of the songs that I wanted to do, Paul didn't like the songs. I don't know if he felt that he didn't know what to do with them as far as arrangement or what. But then we wound up whittling it down and finally getting to those 4.
So I'm having Hershey's Kisses here while I'm talking to you from the party last night. We had our WinCam Christmas party.
Oh.
So if Hershey's isn't going the way of Twinkies, maybe they'll do a Hershey's Kisses. Na na hey hey, Hershey's Kisses, hello.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
We'll get them to sing it too.
I'm holding up a little kiss on the a green one. How Christmassy. I got green and red. Hey, I'm a chocolate freak. But no, I want to call you up and wish you happy holidays.
Well, same to you, Joe.
And you have something coming up with the Monkees concert?
Yeah. Davy Jones passed away, and he was the co-host on the PBS special that I did, along with Peter Noonan. And after that, I through Charles Rosenet and this other woman, I forget her name, Phyllis. Anyway, they asked me if I would be a guest because of that, because of Davy, and I said yes, and that's coming up March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 2013 at the Meadowlands in New Jersey.
Oh, so it's 3 nights.
Yeah, that's what I was told. 3 nights. Supposed to be now. Recently, I just saw it advertised, and I saw March 1st. But originally, what I was told was it's the 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd, because there's quite a few people that have come on board, and from what I understand, they have already sold out 4 hotels there already.
Wow.
Yeah, so I get emails. It's amazing from people from all over the world, wanting to know questions, like answers, and I don't really know because I'm only a guest, So then I hook them up with the Phyllis site, and then they get their answers.
Hold on, Gary. Hey, Jeff, I don't see the logo up on the monitor. So I guess, but we're talking to Gary DeCarlo here, and singer who has just put a new band together. And where was the last gig you did?
Oh, I did a show at the Downtown Cabaret in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and it was a good night. We packed the place, and I got 75 emails the next day from people saying what a great time they had, and when am I going to do it again? And even the band really had a good time. So it was a good night, Joe.
Any video on YouTube?
There is, but it's just na-na. There's a video of me singing it, and then there's a video of me thanking WICC and Weeby 108, which had me on for radio interviews, and then came to the show also.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. They're good people.
So what else did you play that night? And then we'll get you off the hot seat.
You mean as far as songs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of cover things, but stuff that I used to do when I was working the area back in the 60s. I did a lot of R&B stuff, Nadine. I did Knock on Wood. I did, let's see, what else? I did a medley with Midnight Hour and let's see, Very Night.
It sounds like a good rockin' set.
Yeah, and then
Rufus Thomas.
I made them move a few tables so that there was a dance floor for the people, and I'll tell you, they came up on a dance floor and they packed it, and I'm telling you, Joe, they had a really, really good time. They stayed later because there was quite a few people, and they just wanted to stand around. They wanted to talk and come up and say hello and meet the band and stuff. So it was nice. It was a good night.
Gary, we know you're busy. It's the holiday season. Thank you so much for participating with our show tonight.
Thank you, Joe.
Happy holidays, man.
Same to you, man.
All right. Thanks.
Here.
Bye. Gary DeCarlo. Hey, Jeff Dearman, how we sounding? Sounding good? I don't see the logo. Does it not come up? Computer's down? Oh, sorry, man. Jeff Dearman's here. He's the dancing usher at the Boston Garden, and it is that time, people. We're going to talk about the movie tomorrow night. The marvelous movie with Frank, Dello, Stritto, if I'm dialing the right number. It's not as hard as DJing.
Dello Stritto.
Dello Stritto. I didn't hear the word Frank.
Okay, well, I guess I was speaking too fast, but it was in there, believe me.
So how is your holiday season going?
I'm not a holiday guy. In fact, I'm in deep development, a drug that I take on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and wake up on January 2nd.
That's what it's called, deep development?
Yes. Haven't gotten it, though,
Oh.
because I'm stuck with the holidays, and the holidays are stuck with me.
I heard it's only available on the moon.
It may be. We'll be close to that tonight with our movie. But first of all, congratulations on your award for your 1-minute movie.
Oh, I sent you that. Cool.
And I don't know if you talked about it on your show yet, but I'm very impressed. I've never talked to an award-winning director before.
Oh, sure you have.
I've talked to a lot of directors who never got near an award, but I've never talked to an award-winning one before.
Well, it's a regional, but it's still pretty cool because the grand prize winner is actually from Winchester, but we won one of the 4 or 5 regional awards.
Hey, well, congratulations. And is this the first time you entered?
Yeah, because I'm working on this full length, a couple of full lengths, and you got the footage on the archives, and this is a 1-minute festival. The Buzzy Linhart people let me license the Birds, which is, there was a big benefit concert last night.
I didn't know that.
Oh, there was a big benefit concert with Paul McCartney and the Rolling Stones. I don't know if you know these names, because I know you're not into music.
no, most of the names you do in music I don't know, but I have heard of those guys.
Okay. So the Rolling Stones engineer worked on this record, The Birds, got it to Buzzy Linhart, and they let me license it for the movie. And I had footage of the seagulls up there, so it's The Birds, 1 minute of The Birds.
Tell me, Joe, how does it work with archive footage? In the old days, Ed Wood could use anything he wanted, he could get his hands on, nobody cared. Now, archive footage, people keep an eye on who owns it, and you got to pay for it.
Oh, this is my archive footage.
Oh, this is your personal archive.
Right, I've been filmmaking since like 71, on and off.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's your feature-length movie going to be about?
Saltwater Summers is a 3-part movie, and Barbara Harris of the Toys, she's down in New Jersey. I wanted one of her songs, and she said, well, I'd like to be in your movie. And Diane Renee said, hey, I'd like to be in your movie. Hey, good work, Jeff. Jeff put a new logo up for us, Frank. All right. And so Diane Renee and Barbara Harris.
Hey, Navy Blue?
Yes.
All right. I guess she's about my age, so she can't be all that old, but I remember her big hit.
So the third movie I want to call Navy Blue because it's all about these rockers getting back together for a reunion concert, but then there's all the craziness of my life, which is the plot.
Okay, before we go on, Joe, you have to tell me you're impressed that I knew who Diane Renee was.
Of course I'm impressed that you know my friend Diane Renee.
Well, tell her all the guys in our class had a crush. She went on, I think, the Clay Cole show, and she was stunning to look at, and all the guys had a crush on her.
I think Clay was on my show. I think we just lost him.
Oh, is he no longer with us?
I believe I met him down at the Charles Rosenet event, and I think Clay just left us.
Oh, okay.
He has a book up.
Oh, he was a big deal when I was growing up.
And you were growing up here in the north, right?
Yeah, I grew up in New Jersey. But Clay Cole died on December 18th, 2010, so almost 2 years ago to the day.
Yeah, we interviewed him around 2009, 2008.
Okay, so you got him, and he was, what, 62? He was 72 years old, so he wasn't all that old. He wasn't that much older than me.
Very nice man.
Okay. Yeah, he always came across that way, and he was on New York television for a long time, and he was quite popular.
Yes, so did you watch my movie?
I have not watched it. You sent it to me today, and I've been running around, so I am going to watch it. So next weekend we can talk about it. Next weekend we can talk about the movie Hitchcock, which I haven't seen yet either. But I can't talk about it tonight, Joe.
All right, so when you see my little 1-minute movie, it's all of 1 minute. You'll see my Hitchcockian cameo appearance by Shadow.
All right.
Did you get a package in the mail?
I did, and thank you very much.
You're welcome. You've worked very hard for us, so I thought I would force you to watch millions of movies.
Okay, well, it's what you're talking about is one of those 50 packs of great horror films, which the films aren't so great, but I'm always surprised about the quality of that set. Those are well done, good quality videos. Not a lot of crap in there, like a lot of the multi-film sets. So that's really appreciated because I actually had that set, but I've had it for about 20 years, and it's getting beat up, and I don't have all the discs, so now I have a complete set again. So thank you very much.
So they did a good job mastering them, huh?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, some of the old films. I mean, the masters aren't in such great shape, but I don't think. Well, for the silent films, this is not true, but I think this collection has pretty good copies of anything from 1940 on, compared to the best that's available. So and that's important because some of the best that's available isn't all that great. These films were not properly archived and maintained, and nobody ever saw them having a life beyond initial release, and then television gave them a new life, and then no one saw a new life for them beyond that, and then VHS and DVD, so they'll live forever now. Well, forever will be on the download, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I guess they'll be downloading. So, in fact, you can download a lot of them now. So, yeah, but these are not, that 50 great horror films that you can pick it up very cheaply at the store, but the prints are not bad. But I have to put the proviso in there. Some of the best print in the world for some of these films isn't going to be that good because the master just isn't in good shape. Ah. So tomorrow night we're doing, I forget the title, it's so long. Voyage to the Planet of Prehistoric Women, a 1968 epic. And that's separate from the film Prehistoric Women, right? Yeah, that is actually a good step into this movie. This began as a Russian science fiction movie called Planet Burra. Planet Burra. I can't do pronunciation to the justice to the pronunciation, but it was a Russian science fiction movie that an American bought and just retitled it, called it Voyage to the Prehistoric Planet, and dubbed it in English. And then Roger Corman came along and bought that from him and juiced up the title to Voyage to the Planet of Prehistoric Women, and had some scenes shot with the prehistoric women, because in the original movie there's a couple of cosmonauts, in English I guess we call them astronauts, and there's some pretty cheesy prehistoric monsters, but that's it. So Corman had a very young Peter Bogdanovich go out and film some scenes with Mamie Van Doren and a bevy of blonde beauties. Mamie Van Doren is the only one that's remembered today, and inserted that in, and so it finally became, in its present and final form, Voyage to the Planet of Prehistoric Women. And this is a weird movie because of that. And what I find most fascinating about the movie is not the prehistoric women, but is watching how the Russians would have filmed a science fiction movie. The special effects are not as good as, nowhere near Ray Harryhausen. They're comparable to a cheesy American movie of the era.
Ed Wood?
Yeah.
That bad?
I don't know if Ed Wood didn't use special effects that much, and what he did, they weren't that bad. They weren't the worst things about his movies. They're probably better than the cheapest Corman.
Are you there? Oh, that's our audio tonight. You there, Frank?
Still here.
Oh, good. I thought I disconnected you.
Okay, and
that was the Russians complaining.
Yeah, maybe they didn't like what was butchered up, or maybe they want the footage of the prehistoric women to put in their version. I don't know. Which would be easy, by the way, because the prehistoric women communicate by telepathy, so they actually don't move their lips at all. So you could easily dub it over in any language you wanted. Roger Corman is in his early 40s when he does this, and his directing days are pretty much behind him. And I was surprised. I looked on IMDb for his credits, and they have 56 directorial credits for Roger Corman and over 400 producing credits. And Roger Corman is kind of an entrepreneur at this point. He's always looking for a deal, and he must have got this movie for a song, and for another song he threw in some tapes of Mamie Van Doren and a few other women, and he came up with a serviceable movie that my guess is did pretty well on the drive-in circuit. This wouldn't have gotten near a big theater, a prime theater, but this would have done okay in the country circuits. And what's the plot? The plot is there's some astronauts who are lost on the prehistoric planet, which is Venus, by the way. Hard to swallow because today everybody knows Venus is pretty uninhabitable, but in those days, the people weren't as sophisticated about those things, so you could get away with that. And other than that, astronauts come to rescue them, and off to the side are the prehistoric women, who never really get into the story because they didn't spend a lot of money. They just put scenes they could add on. They didn't integrate anything. But I find it fascinating to see how the Russians would have made a movie and their special effects, and with the scenes, they show a lot of mechanical aspects of the spaceship and all that, which today seem kind of archaic. They didn't see to be honest, very few people in the 60s saw the revolution in instrumentation and electronics, yada yada, to the extent it is today. So, but I found it fascinating. So the first thing what am I saying? It's a historical piece.
Well, here's my question. You can get the Russian version, right?
I don't know. I've never seen the Russian version.
So the Russian would be Planet Burra?
Planeta Burr. Planet with an A on it. So Planeta Burr, B-U-R.
Okay, like Raymond Burr.
Yeah, and what that means, it probably means something in Russian. But I don't know. I can guess what Planeta means in Russian. It probably means planet. But I can't guess what Burr means. Let's see. I'll look at it. See, I'm on my computer.
Raymond Burr, actor of Godzilla. That's what it might mean. Or Rear Window.
Yes, if they put another R on there, it could be Raymond Burr's planet, but I don't know what planet. Maybe one of your viewers will speak Russian and tell us what that meant.
Okay, so here are my series of questions. So maybe if you find Planet Bora and then the original Voyage to the Prehistoric Planet, is that available before Bogdanovich got a hold of it?
You hit me with these questions tonight. I don't know if it's available. I've never... No, it is... Well, it's available, but what I think they did is the producer of that movie, I guess it was Curtis Harrington, put his own extra scenes in, and when the print was bought by Roger Corman, he took out Curtis Harrington's extra scenes and put his own extra scenes in. And I have actually seen Planet to a Prehistoric Planet, but I haven't seen it in over 40 years, so I'm not gonna comment on it. Except that it's remembered today mainly because those extra scenes have a Basil Rathbone in them not too long before he died. But I'd be really pushing the memory to tell you what was in there. So
this movie has a lot more cachet than people would think. Basil Rathbone's in the second edition of it.
Yes, and Mamie Van Doren is in the third edition of it, and Peter Bogdanovich, under a different name, under the name Derek Thomas, Peter Bogdanovich is the director of the insert scenes. So, yeah.
Why don't we got to find all three and do a box set?
Yeah, I mean, you're the entrepreneurial one. This thing is in the public domain, so if we can get all of them, we're not doing bad.
We're on a search. We're on a mission. We've got 5 minutes left. We're on a mission to find all three movies. Planet Burr.
Well, finding two of them isn't going to be hard because you've got one in your hands, and it looks like you can watch the other one, the one with Basil Rathbone in it, the Curtis Harrington's movie, online. It looks like that's in the public domain. So if the Russians have fallen into the public domain, then you can get that, but I wouldn't know where to begin to look for that. Word about Peter Bogdanovich. He's never directed before, and all of a sudden he's directing a handful of scenes, so it's not very trying for him. But this same year, he'll make what is almost Boris Karloff's final film called Targets. Have you ever seen Targets, Joe?
I have a copy. Okay,
Targets, I think, is a very, very fine movie. And Peter Bogdanovich, who also appears in the movie, is both does a credible job as an actor and does an excellent job as a director. And it's amazing to me that was really his first film, because I don't count this one. This one he's directing a handful of very short scenes to insert in. So that wasn't much of a directorial task.
Targets is almost, in a chilling way, it predated some of these rock and roll star things like John Lennon.
Yeah, well, let's see. Do you remember the shooting massacre at the University of Texas, the Texas Tower?
Sure.
That's what inspired this. In fact, if you when I saw this on first release, and that was right after the shootings at the University of Texas had been in the news, and the parallels are unescapable. And that is the reason it never got much distribution, because gun violence was a hot topic then, and the studio decided they weren't going to push that envelope, so they basically gave it a release in a couple of the big cities, and then it never went wider than that.
Smart move of Karloff to do it at the end of his life, so that way he didn't become a target.
No, he did not. Well, yeah, and for those who haven't seen the movie, I believe the opening scene is you see Boris Karloff leaving a building, and then the scene is through the sight of a rifle, and he is in the sights of a rifle of a man who becomes a psychotic killer. And no, it's a very fine film. It's probably it's so nice that Karloff did this near the end. I think he died within a year of making this movie. It's not officially his last, but it's really the last movie he starred in that sense of the word. And I think it was the best movie he had made since the 40s. He was very active through the 50s and 60s, but that is pretty forgettable stuff. Even a few films he made with Corman, I don't find all that impressive. But Targets, he was spot on, and I'm glad he got one more great movie under his belt before he passed away.
Fascinating stuff. We've got 2 minutes left, and I had a question, but it floated away.
Okay. Do we know what next week's movie is?
No, we do not. But tomorrow night is The Voyage to the Planet of the Prehistoric Women. And there's a movie on IMDb, Prehistoric Women. Is that the same one?
No, that is not the same one. That is, let's see, as I recall, that's like a 1950s really cheap science fiction movie.
Oh, good. We got a fourth one for the box set.
A fourth one for the box set. And Joe, next week's movie is on December 21st, so we'll still be around, if you believe in the Mayan calendar, for our talk on December 20th. And I hope we'll be able to show the movie that I personally believe we're going to be fine. But in case we're not, this may be the last movie you get a chance to show. And
my question just came back. Bogdanovich married a woman, Sissy something from, was it Moonlight with Bruce Willis?
Sybil Shepherd. Did they ever actually get married? I knew they were together for a long time.
Okay, maybe they didn't get married, but he produced her album, and I reviewed it.
And what kind of review did you give it?
I don't know. If you go to allmusic.com and put in Sybil Shepherd, you'll see the Bogdanovich produced album that I reviewed.
Okay.
So if my review's still there. I just thought I'd let you know that. And that's our show for tonight.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Frank. And the views and opinions on Visual Radio are those of the host and my wonderful guests tonight, Gary DeCarlo, Frank dello Stritto, Doug Mascott from WMWM, and not necessarily those of the WinCam board, staff, members, and all our affiliate stations. Thank you, Jeff Dearman. Thank you, Judy Kellerman, for helping out with the show tonight. And thank you to the WinCam party for giving us a Sennheiser microphone to hold. That's our show. Happy holidays.